We are officially live. What is up, guys? Man, YouTube changed. I've got pop-ups. I haven't done a YouTube live in so long. I've got like pop-ups like tutorials. I know how to use this. What's up, guys? Let me know if you can hear and see me okay. It's been a few weeks. I'm excited to be back. If this is your first live, welcome in. My name is Charles Leslie, or Chaz, as most people know me by. All right, looks like everyone's good on audio video. Sweet. I don't have my microphone technically is supposed to be like this. So does it sound okay if it's off to the side? I need to get a smaller microphone. I don't like how big this thing is. I'm trying to like minimize life right now, including all my tech equipment. Speaking of which, did you guys enjoy the GoPro shot? This is the first time I've ever owned one of these, shockingly. You would think for someone that's been doing content for a few years. Did I scratch that lens already? Son of a bitch. All right, so I need to get a screen protector, but I've got to put this thing to use. So first time I was able to use that, bring you guys behind the scenes at some yard sales. I'm going to be using this inside of Goodwills, thrift stores, etc. So if you guys enjoy that type of content, I'm going to keep producing it. Again, back to where I originally rabbit trailed. My name is Chaz. I am with Side Hustle Network, which is basically our brand. What we do is various side hustles. Primarily what we're focusing on this year is Amazon, eBay. My wife does Poshmark. We just now really got heavy into local sales. So I open up the doors once a week. This is our warehouse space. I open up the doors, not once a week, once a month. And I host basically our own indoor garage sale called a warehouse sale. And it's been a ton of fun to do that. So I'm really, really digging the local sales. That's basically who we are, what we do. So if you like that type of content, be sure to subscribe and check back in. This is the first. Let's do a quick life update, and I'll get into the mistakes I've been making lately, because you guys know I like to keep it real, and I love to share the wins and the highlights like anyone else. But that's the problem with social media, is no one talks about the other half, which is the mistakes. So I'm going to be talking about that. So quick update, because I've been super active on Instagram. Instagram is my #1 platform that I document on. So if you are not on there, just go follow the Side Hustle Network. I do daily behind the scenes vlog, basically on stories mode. So for YouTube land, this is the first time I've had any type of YouTube content in about 5 weeks. And if you are new or you're kind of out of the loop, you're not on Instagram or Facebook, what happened was our baby got here. So we had our baby girl. Her name is Isla, and she got here 3 weeks early. She was supposed to be due on June 1st, and she was born on Mother's Day, actually. So that was definitely a gift, and we knew she was going to be a little bit early. We just didn't know the exact day. So we do have a baby girl now. She is 5 weeks, almost 5.5 weeks old right now. And that's basically the moral of the story. That's where we've been just super focused on getting back into business. I've been out buying, getting a ton of listings done over these last few weeks. I took about 3 weeks off, which, I mean, it's so weird, because if we had our old jobs, there's no way we would have been able to take 3 weeks off and still have our bills paid without taking PTO or shift coverage and all that crap I had to do at my old job. So I've just been feeling super blessed that we even have an opportunity to sell products online and utilize the platforms that we do. So definitely a lot of good stuff happening. So with that being said, everyone's healthy. Trista did have some blood pressure issues because she did have preeclampsia, which is why we knew the baby was going to come early. So we had to go back into the hospital after being home for a day and a half. Isla was 5 days old. We had to go back into the hospital, stay for 3 nights because Trista's blood pressure was not cooperating. So she was put on a hefty dose of magnesium for 24 hours, all that fun stuff that goes with it. But they are both home, 100% healthy. And we're just living the baby life right now. So a little bit of lack of sleep. She's just now kind of getting into some routine, but averaging about 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. But it is what it is. We're blessed. We cannot complain about anything. So with that being said, let's dive into some content for you guys. 3 mistakes. Is that haircut one of them? I've decided to just I stopped actually going to a barber recently. I've just been shaving it. It's summertime and hot, and I've just been shaving it. But I did chop this thing off. It's funny. I've been shaving the beard now for, I don't even know. It's been a couple months, and I watched my FBA for beginners tutorials when I had it grown out. I was like, oh, why didn't no one tell me to cut that sooner? I like the short. I've never grown it out, so I had to try it at least, but been there, done that. I'm going to keep it short. So let's dive into some content for you guys, because that's why you're here. Let's talk about 3 of my biggest mistakes. I can probably list about 15, but I narrowed it down to my top 3. So sales, and primarily these are going to be geared towards eBay, but the same premise goes for Amazon as well. So we had just, did I miss something? Gretchen's like, am I no one? I think I may have missed a comment. So 3 of the biggest things that caused our eBay sales to go down, we were really, really close to hitting the 20K rolling 60-day sales mark for eBay. Really close. I'm talking like we had 18.5K. And I mean, we were right there. And then sales tanked a little bit. Not hard, but they tanked. They got down to like 14 last week, and now they're climbing back up again. But what happened was, number 1, here's the three things. Number 1, I stopped listing, and I did not give my employee clear instructions to be listing every day. Okay. Part of that was just me being unorganized here at the office, because he would show up and there would just be piles of stuff that I knew what needed done, or certain ones needed parts, and I was not clearly explaining that to him. So that was on me. I was not doing my own listing. I had the best of intentions. When we got home, I was going to take a week off, and then I was going to get back to work, start listing every day, all that fun stuff. And then Trista's blood pressure issue happened. We were back in the hospital. My mom actually, at the same time, my mom had a heart attack. So that was like its own thing going on the exact same week. She's all fine and healthy now. She got a stent put in. She's good now. But that was a whirlwind of like 3 weeks. Okay, dealing with a lot of family personal stuff at the same time, trying to get the business going again. So it was like 3 weeks of no listing at all. And you know what happens? It's true. If you don't list, you don't sell anything. I had lowered my prices even. I was by far the lowest price on most of my items versus anyone else. There's no reason why my items should not have sold. But it is 100% true based on my personal experience so far that if you are not listing consistently, your items are not going to be put in front of viewers. Okay. Those potential customers are going to see accounts and items based on who's listing consistently. So here's what we did to fix that. We started listing 5 items a day, and that happened about a week ago. And guess what? Shockingly, out of nowhere, all my products are selling again. We're having daily sales that we're shipping out as normal, all from listing consistently. And this is something I'm becoming a huge fan of, is if that happens, I spent all day yesterday and today doing nothing but cleaning, testing, and taking photos of 3 tables worth of products. I should have counted. I don't know how many I've done. I've done at least 40, maybe 50 items. I have all the photos on my phone. My first instinct is I'm going to go home. I'm going to be up till midnight, and I'm going to list everything. I'm just going to get one huge flood of product on eBay. But eBay's algorithm does not like that. It likes to see daily, consistent listings being done. So I would urge you to think about not doing 10, 15, 20 in one batch every now and then, but rather just do 3 to 5 listings every single day. You are going to see sales increase from that. Now, of course, there's other combinations that go into that. You got to have a decent photo. You got to have competitive pricing. It's not just list and you're going to sell. Okay. But you guys get where I'm going with that. Be consistent. If you know you've been inconsistent for a while now, trust me, I did it for 3 weeks. I didn't list anything. That was the first time in a while we had not listed anything for that long. And I saw the dip happen. So I'm bare minimum, even if I have a crazy day with other stuff going on, I'm getting 5 listings a day up. And part of that is me being more vocal and clear with my employee too. So he knows when he comes in, his task list is shipping is priority. That's first thing. Get shipping out first. Second is we have eBay drop off shelves. So he knows to start picking through those, clean, test, photo, bin, and then list, create the drafts and go from there. So we're coming up with some, little tweaks in our own systems on how we're working inside the warehouse here. So that's number 1, is not listing. I'm curious too in the comments, have any of you guys experienced that too? If you stop listing for a certain amount of time, your sales just come to a dead halt. That's what happened with us. So I am now a believer. It's no longer just theory thrown out there on YouTube videos of you got to list every, like it's 100% true based on my own experience now. It's been great to see daily sales come in again, but it definitely it was a little painful to be so close to 20K in sales and see it just kind of go back down. So now I'm motivated to hit that 20K, and I have a personal goal. I want to get to 30K for that rolling 30 days or rolling 60-day number pretty soon. In the next few months, I should be hitting those numbers. What's up, Rally Roots in the house? Showing the love back over here. I always try to make the Roots live show at any time that I can. Definitely one of our faves. So that's number one is my biggest mistake lately over the last 3 weeks. Of course, if there's any excuse, like having a newborn in the house, it's a pretty decent excuse, but it's still an excuse. Okay. I could have taken my 2 weeks off like I wanted to, and then got back into listing. I could have more clearly explained to my employee my intentions for the eBay account. I wanted 5 listings up per day. So that was on me as a business owner, right? And this is a different conversation of like how to treat your team, how to communicate with your team. That's another video for another time. That was a huge one for me, guys, is seeing firsthand what not listing did. And I did not like it. So now that we're listing, it wasn't even my new stuff that was newly listed that started to move. It was older listings that had been stale. Those started to sell. Shockingly, right? What a coincidence. Show us your favorite pop. Oh, man. I don't even know. I go through waves of like my favorite stuff. All right, let me pull down what my favorites. Actually, I got 2 of them. Oh, I almost dropped them. Got 2 of them right now. All right. First one, I need to get an actual case for this guy. You can't beat this. The old school Jeffrey, Toys R Us exclusive. This was the golden ticket version when Toys R Us, the week that I actually had 5 of these. I don't know how I ended up with 5, but I went in and they had a 3 limit. I bought 3. I went back to a different one. I bought 2. I ended up with 5, and I was supposed to quick flip them like the next day, and I didn't. And a week later, I mean, fortunately for me as a reseller, these were sitting in a box. A week later, Toys R Us made the big announcement that they were going under. These things were selling for like $200 each. And I haven't looked up comps in a long time. But this, and I'm so nervous because if you collect, you know what I mean? Like I need to get a hard case for this. But I sold my other 4 for $200 each. So I was really, really happy, but of course I had to keep one. I love to keep one. If I have multiples of anything I make a good amount of money on, I love to keep one just as like a reminder. This is the other one, Stanley Kamikaze, 2015, I believe, exclusive, the superhero outfit. I really, really want to get an autographed version of this. There's also a metallic one, a chrome. That one I really want to get a hold of. That is a little out of the budget for now, but that's kind of one of the goals we're working towards, but definitely 2 of my favorites. I've also flipped a few of these, several $100 each, but those are my 2 favorite pops right now. Let It Grow. Nope. I did the growing out phase. You guys can watch the FBA for Beginners series. I had the little beard action going. I just don't think that's going to be my overall style. Yeah, pops itself fast. Absolutely. I mean, and the sad part is like those are my cherry picked ones. I've got boxes. I've probably got over 100 right now just for my personal collection. I need to go through and just sell off the ones I don't actually need. But those are all my cherry picked ones up there. And then I've also been getting that kind of domino affected little rabbit trail story here. I never was a collector. I started selling Funko Pops. Just, it was business. Like if I can buy them for $9 and I can sell them for $30, of course I want to do that. So when I started doing that, I started finding Marvel ones that I'm like, I love this one. I have to keep it. It started with like Iron Man. And then I went to a couple different ones. And then that happened. And then I started collecting. And now I've gone down this rabbit trail of collecting just vintage toys. And I'm going to do a YouTube video, but I have 3 boxes. I bought out another collector's collection. I have 3 boxes of like 88 to 97 Ninja Turtles. And I have about 100 units. There's about 10 of them that are factory sealed from 1987 and 1988. Oh, wait, 1988 and 1989. I have some factory sealed sets, which are going to go for some good money. I'm probably going to hold on to those for a while, display them, enjoy them, and then I'll sell them down the road. But now I'm definitely riding the line of like personal collector versus wanting to sell. And some of you will appreciate this. I was a horror movie fanatic. And when I was younger, my mom, I remember it was my grandma owned all the VHS of this series I'm going to show you guys. My mom owned all the VHS or my grandma owned the VHS. So when we were over at her house and they went out grocery shopping and I was home by myself as a young teen, because, that was kind of okay back then. I would watch these VHS and I loved them to death. But does anyone remember this? Puppet Masters. I saw these pop up. I couldn't help myself. I am going to sell this as an entire set. But this was one of those ones where I was really tempted to keep that for myself, but I've got almost all the characters in here. I actually ordered 2 more of the characters that I'm missing because I'm going to be the only eBay seller that I know of that is going to sell this complete set, all factory sealed. So I'm really excited for that flip, but the horror movie fanatic in me wants to really keep those, but they're probably going to take a while to sell. So of course they're going to be displayed up there on the wall. So we got Bearded Picker in the house. The beard is well documented. Feel free to look at past videos. That's hilarious. Oh, man. Do you have your own website landing page to give to potential suppliers when looking for wholesale? Yes, absolutely. That is, my phone is blown up. I got to make sure everything's okay. I got put in a group text, so I've got like, I should make sure everything's good on the home front. It's just a group text. Yeah, so we just create a basic, we call it a business card. Basically, if you had a business card on a web page, that's what your wholesale web page is going to look like. Nothing fancy at all. You do not need fancy. Just depends on what type of wholesale that you're looking out for. So let me dive into the last 2 mistakes that I've been making and kind of what I did to fix those. And then we can dive in more open Q&A sesh for a little bit for you guys. Number 2 is pricing way too high and being freaking greedy about it. Okay. I fall into this pattern of like, I know what it's worth and I'm going to hold out until I get what I want. But I know that I've got a ton of cash just holding out inside of inventory. Like I ran inventory lab reports on how much in-stock buy cost we have. I was looking at our eBay accounts on how much potential sales we have just sitting there. I've got way too much capital tied up inside of products because I've been stingy and just pricing my stuff way too high and not working in a competitive range. So I've got to take my own advice, which I preach all the time. Like you've got to be okay with settling for more like a 30 to 50% ROI and not always 70 to 100%. Of course, this depends on the type of product, the type of business model that you run. This is just for us. So I'm going to go through this week and just go through a mass repricing on a bunch of our eBay inventory. I'm going to go through and adjust my repricer for our Amazon inventory. I'm going to just start to like turn and burn and start to get this cash flow back where it needs to be. So that was a huge one for me. And I'm curious too, if you guys have struggled with that or what your strategy is. Because I was going through and I was checking comps again on some of my older listings and my prices are like 10, 15 bucks higher. I'm still going to make money if I drop those prices in the competitive range. And it's just something I'm going to have to sit down and do and be okay with on that. Number 3, probably the biggest one, some of which was a little out of our control, being limited to basically a hospital recliner. For between my mom going to the hospital for a few nights and having a heart attack and Trista going through the birth of our child and then going back for 3 nights, I spent a total of about 10 nights inside of hospitals on the same like 2.5 week time frame. So the biggest one, number 3, was not taking care of myself. When I got home, like there's only so much you can do when you're in a hospital setting, being there for your family. Especially, you know, with the birth of our child, I'm not going to be like, here, hold Isla. I'm going to go to the gym for an hour. Like you got to ride that line. But I got to the point where we got home and I told myself, like, I need to get back into the gym. I need to start, really tightening up that nutrition again, go for daily walks, yoga, do things for me that are just going to make me feel good so I can go into my business and give my clients, my members, and my business its best. What happened was I did the typical thing that most people do when they come out of some type of mini rut, if you want to call it. I just didn't follow through with what I said I was going to do in my own health world. And that weighs on me totally in the mental aspect more than anything. Physically, I felt like crap, didn't have much energy, wasn't sleeping great, especially with the newborn, right? Trista and I are extremely blessed that we do this entrepreneur world full time for ourselves. So we don't have regular jobs to go to. So we tag team as far as who feeds the baby. Like she'll take like the 2 a.m. feeding, I'll take the 6 a.m. feeding, and we kind of just rotate through that way. But not taking care of myself was a huge, huge thing. I was so caught up in just constantly taking care of everyone else. And of course, newborn, wife, 4-year-old, I've got to take care of them. But not taking care of myself started to weigh on it. I started to get not a temper, but I was just getting very short fused with people. I was just kind of going back into like my little hermit mode where I wasn't posting on social media much because I was just kind of overwhelmed and burnt out. And then I took a couple weeks and I really just, when I got into the gym, I just put myself in this mindset of like, I don't feel motivated to do this right now, but I'm just going to do it, give it my all, push my body and my mind to its limit, and I will feel better. And sure enough, it took about a week of strict nutrition again, getting my daily cardio, my daily workouts in, reading books again, taking quiet time in the morning, like almost meditation for like 20 minutes, just sit in silence, think about the day, think about your goals, whatever you want to do. And that was the biggest game changer over the last 2 weeks. My energy, like I've talked to a few people, just normal conversation. They've even pointed out like you have a lot of energy right now. Like, because I feel like me again. I don't feel overwhelmed. I have as minimal stress as I possibly could have right now. Of course, we all have stress. We all have family stuff going on, but I feel fantastic again. I feel like me again. And guess what happens when I feel like me? I'm able to show up here in the office, put on some good tunes, and I kick some ass. Okay. I've done nothing but just mass photos. Got over 50 products photoed right here. I'm going to be able to list and draft and schedule to be auto posted 5 a day over the next several weeks. I feel fantastic again. And that energy carries over into anything I do. It carries over into the videos I produce for you guys. It carries over into my personal life with my family. I'm able to be there and present with my 4-year-old when he needs my attention to play. I'm not dinking around on my phone as much anymore. I feel good. And when you feel good, you do fantastic in your business. And some of you are at that point where I know you're like, I came here for business advice. What the hell is he talking about? I'm telling you, if you take care of yourself, and that's different for each of you. I'm not saying go to the gym for an hour a day and like eat chicken salad all the time. You know what you need to do to feel better. You know the stuff, the bad habits that you're doing right now that make you feel like crap. Okay. And here's the thing. If you don't take care of yourself, there's no reason you deserve to have energy. That's just how it is. We get one body. We get one physical body to work with our entire life. You break some shit, it's not coming back as it used to be. You've got to take care of it. You got to take care of your mindset more than anything. So do what you need to do to get your body and your mind synced. Get your health going. That's a huge one, guys. That's why, I save it for last, number 3, but not taking care of myself was the biggest mistake I've ever made. And it's happened more than once. It's like a cycle, right? You can't run on all cylinders all the time, but when you run on all cylinders, man, you just feel phenomenal. You get shit done. I mean, it's friggin' 6:30 right now. I've been up and at it all day, literally. I took one lunch break earlier today. That was it. I haven't sat down. I haven't done anything but just put my nose down to the grind. I feel great. My body doesn't hurt like it was a few weeks ago when I wasn't taking care of myself. My energy is phenomenal. Shockingly, I haven't had any caffeine today. Trista bought me a coffee when I was going to bring to the office, and I left it at the house. I forgot it. So all this is caffeine free. Like, you can have caffeine free energy if you work for it. But I'm telling you, if you start taking care of yourself, you're going to see a difference in your business, because when you feel your best, you give your best. When you feel your best, you go into your business clear-headed, you get stuff done. Okay, you don't have to stop halfway through because your back hurts or you're low on energy. Or you're hungry every 5 minutes, or even worse is like when you're hungry and then you eat shit food and then you don't work the rest of the day because you feel like crap. You got to take care of yourself. those are my top 3 mistakes I've been making, but I resolved each of them, and I'm in a really good state of mind right now. And the business is reflecting it. We're seeing daily sales come in. I'm getting tons of listings up right now. I've got a really good flow going right now. And it ties back to I was not listing, so now I'm doing daily listings again. And I'm telling you, don't go on these sprees where you feel motivated, so you do 20 listings in a day and then you don't do crap the rest of the week. Just commit to small daily actions, because that will make a difference in your business. 3 to 5 listings every day. Consider that a challenge for the next 30 days. I should get an email from at least one of the several thousand people that will watch this 30 days from right now, which is June 18th. I should get at least one email on July 18th that says, you know what? I took your 30-day challenge. I listed 3 things every day. Here's how much I made in sales. I should get at least one email if anyone follows through with that. I'm telling you, it makes a difference. Shout out to my man, Richard, one of our VIP members. We had this same conversation a few weeks ago, and he's now, I forgot what day he's on. He's about 2 weeks in, and he's been taking that challenge. He's doing 5 listings a day. And every single day he posts on his Instagram and he tags me on it. And I'm damn proud of that, because not many people actually follow advice that's given. It's just a numbers game. 1,000 people watch this video. There might be 4 or 5 people that try to implement. There might be one that does it. It's a game changer when you just follow through with simple tasks. 5 listings a day. That's the biggest fix you could do. Yeah, day 13. That's what he's on today. Number 2 was I was pricing my stuff too high. I was being stingy. I'm trying to double my money on a lot of stuff that I know I can sell if I just drop to like 50% ROI and just turn and burn. Cash flow. Positive cash flow is my game I'm going to focus on right now. Number 3, not taking care of me. I just touched base on that pretty heavily. I don't have to go back into that tangent, but take care of yourself. Seriously. Some of you know what to do. You're just not doing it. Okay. I used to be in the personal training field. Okay. I don't look it anymore, but I used to be lean, athletic. I did Spartan races every year. I felt damn good. That was the best I've ever felt. Now I'm back in, getting back towards that shape I used to be in, because mentally I'm there. Physically, it's not reflecting quite yet, but I know I'm going to get there. My first race is coming up in 2 weeks. I'm going to be doing what's called Rugged Maniac here in the Portland area. In 1 month, a little bit less than 1 month, about 3.5 weeks, I'm flying out to Pennsylvania. P.S. There will be a Pennsylvania meetup in about a month. I'm going to do a whole Instagram post and all that. I'm going to be doing Spartan race with a buddy of mine, one of our members, Ron. And then I'm going to come back a week after that and do another Spartan race here in the Northwest. That's something I'm doing that sets a goal that holds today accountable. And that's another big tip too. That's like a bonus here. Find future events and commit to them so it holds today accountable. How many times have you guys put out these big things like, oh, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to get my business to 50K in sales this year. But then year after year, you don't follow through with it. It's because you haven't set anything in motion that's going to keep you accountable today. So in the health and fitness world, for me, it's setting races, whether it's just a basic 5K, a Spartan race, something. I need to just register, even if I don't feel like I'm in good enough shape to do it quite yet. Just register, because it's going to force you to show up and work out. It's going to force you to start eating better and to get in the shape that you need to be in to do that race. Okay. On a business standpoint, I saw we had a shout out from Hillsboro. What's up, Rodrigo? I'm in Hillsboro quite often. In a business standpoint, I think one of the best things you could do is register for a conference, any type of conference, as far as like eBay, Poshmark, Amazon. There's a ton of them out there. Register for a conference, because you know that you don't want to show up knowing that you've been half-assing your business. You want to be proud walking into that room like, hey, here's the business I run. And you can start to talk to other sellers about that too. So I definitely recommend you guys hold yourself accountable today by registering for something in the future. And that's different for each of you. I can't tell you what to go register for. But with that being said, that's my tangent. That's the topic. Hopefully you guys got something out of that. So I'm going to hang out here for another 30 minutes and do some Q&A, BS around for you guys. So if you guys have any questions, now's the time to do that. I know I was not following the chat too well. It's my first time back in like 6 weeks. I got to get better at keeping up on this here. What happens on Prime Day? A lot of sales. A lot of sales. Basically 2-day shipping for all Amazon people. So there's a nice little spike that happens. Yeah, there you go. I list on Facebook and eBay. I have about 100 listings at any one time. That's awesome. That's something I'm really getting heavy into is the local sales, like I mentioned earlier. So I'm now selling on Facebook Marketplace and starting to get into OfferUp. It's funny how OfferUp is so different in my experience with city to city. There's some cities I've traveled to where I do a lot of OfferUp deals. Awesome finds, great communication with people. People show up on time, but man, I don't know what it is, but my area, people, they just don't show up. They text you at the time and say, hey, I'm going to be 20 minutes late. So I don't do a lot of OfferUp, but Facebook Marketplace, I've been loving. All right, let me scroll through, make sure I didn't miss any major questions here. And if I did miss your guys' questions, I do apologize. Just copy and paste those to the bottom. I'll get to them. What is the best time to open an eBay? I started my Amazon 6 months ago. Do it now. Yeah, Gretchen covered it. Today is the day. Do it now. Do it now. There's no reason every single person watching this should not have an eBay account. Even if you don't plan on selling on eBay, just by having your account and start listing and selling a few things, it's going to save you some headache because they have listing limitations. eBay likes to see an active account. Just start your account and start listing and selling there. Been looking into FBA. What product do you suggest? Super broad question. You need to be a little bit more specific with that. There's literally millions of products. What do I recommend for beginners as far as FBA goes right now? I recommend that you start with books. There's very, very few times you will ever hear about any IP complaints or anything like that. 99.9% of the time, your listings are going to be used books. So you should be in the clear there. Always use your phone, your Amazon sellers app to scan and check for restriction if there is one. Make sure your condition guidelines are on point, guys. Do not be listing books that have highlights as very good. And if you don't know what that means, you need to do some research in Amazon Seller Central. They give you the entire TOS, the terms of service, the condition guidelines, it's all there. So you need to get in there, do some research. Books are a great way to start, low buy cost, great ROI, really teaches you the game. Then the next step is kind of traditional retail arbitrage. You're going up and down the clearance aisles, you're going down different aisles in Walmart's, Target's, main retail stores. It is low hanging fruit, which means everyone is doing it, especially when you're new because you don't know any better yet. You need to get in there and practice. That's the biggest thing. So you're going to see price tanking on items, but I tell people, like, get in there and just start doing it. Even if there's price tanking happens, even if it's happening, you're going to see how the system works. You're going to get a lot of practice in. So that's what I would start with. You need to rely on the sellers app. I see too many comments on my YouTube videos of people that are like, hey, I bought some of these products and I got home to do my shipment and it said restricted because they didn't scan it first. You always need to check with your Amazon sellers app because it will tell you if it's if you're restricted, if it's hazmat, all these terms, it will show you. So you need to make sure you are using your sellers app and just get to work. And then you can try online arbitrage, which is the same methodology behind retail arbitrage, except you're sourcing on the online sites and not the retail stores. And then you can start working your way into wholesale, private label. There's all kinds of ways you can do it. But look at it this way. Everyone's like, what's the best category to sell in? What's the best product to sell? There are $1 million sellers in every single category. Choose one. Just start there. I sell 99% shoes on eBay and Posh. What are the next top products to branch out with? It's like same answer. There's $1 million sellers in every single category. So I would say if you're focusing on eBay and Posh, obviously Posh has more restrictions on what type of product you can sell, but I'm talking about eBay here. Go with where you have some knowledge. Okay. Like I have some knowledge I used to be a massage therapist. So I know massage equipment. I've flipped several massage tables before. I'll find them in Goodwill or Facebook Marketplace that are undervalued, and I'll flip those, not on eBay, but I'll flip them locally because I know I have some knowledge base in that. So I always tell people, start with where you have some knowledge, because knowledge means you know the value of certain things. If you know video games or vintage toys, you're going to be able to see something at a garage sale, and without looking at comps, you kind of know what it's worth. That's where it starts to get fun, because you don't have to pull out your phone at every single sale anymore. I just picked up that video. If you guys watched that video I just posted today of the yard sale with the GoPro footage, that Canon GL2, I already knew it was a $200 flip. I've sold that before. I had that knowledge. So I knew that that flip was going to happen. Minimum $150. The fact that it had the huge bag and all the accessories, and I just got it photoed today, so I'm going to list it tonight. I knew that was about I'm going to list probably 250 and see if I get some watchers or a sale. That'd be great. But I'll accept, 225, 200, 225 is my target price on that. I didn't have to look it up. I did have to look up the recorder, the digital cassette video cassette recorder. There's always so many words on that title. Video cassette recorder, the digital one. I had to look that up because I've never sold one before. So I had to get that knowledge then to keep an eye out for that in the future. So start with where you have some knowledge. And if you don't have any knowledge in any category, pick one you think you would enjoy and just start learning. Here's the best way that I have used to learn, aside from the tangible, like get out there and buy and sell stuff. Aside from just practicing, here's what I did to learn the categories that I do now. I took my eBay app and I would type in, if you don't know video games, go onto eBay, type in Xbox One game and search solds, and then filter to the highest solds over the last 90 days and start to research what titles are selling for a lot of money. And then when you start to go out into retail stores or thrift stores or garage sales, you're keeping an eye out for this. It's now like database in your head. Same thing if you're looking at like, right now I'm in a Ninja Turtles kit because I just bought 100 vintage ones. I can search Ninja Turtles action figure, go to sold and filter by the highest price that was sold, and I can start to see which ones am I going to start keeping an eye out for. You don't need the crazy ones that are selling for thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars. If you find a couple action figures that sell for $30 to $50 and you build a database in your head of all those different ones that are like $30 flips, you then can go out to yard sales, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and you can start to eyeball and cherry pick some of this stuff. That's just my own personal take on it. That's how I learned. Everything I know came based on me just spending hours. And when I say hours, I'm not like, oh, I spent 2 hours one night. Over the course of the last 4 years of me doing this, I have spent hours and hours and hours just researching sold comps. Trista has seen me. Anyone ever do this where they like, you get in the zone and you're like intently looking at your phone? She's walked into the living room before several times, and I'm like on the couch like this. She's like, who are you angry texting? I'm like, oh, sorry. I've just spent an hour straight researching sold comps because I need to learn more about certain categories. But that's how I personally did it. I know that there's so many ways to do it. You're going to talk to tons of people with tons of pieces of advice. It's all good advice. You just need to start implementing and find out what works best for you. This is just, as always, anything I say on this channel is just my own experience. How many pics do you need for your product on eBay? That's an excellent question. It depends on the product. If you have something like a Funko Pop, highly collectible, especially something like this that sells for hundreds of dollars, and not so much. I think the price came down on this, but these were worth like $250 at one point. I need all 12 photos. You can take up to 12 photos. I'm going to maximize all 12 photos if I can of most of my products, especially with something that's a collector's or vintage. Box condition is everything with Funko Pop. So I'm taking pictures of all the corners up close. If there's any type of wear on the plastic, I'm taking photos of that. So I'll take up all 12 slots. If I'm taking a photo of, I don't know, if I'm going to sell, if this is factory sealed, if I'm selling this bag of blue diamond almonds, I don't need 12 photos. It's factory sealed. It's a food item. And yes, I have sold food items on eBay. Believe it or not, that grocery is a great game to play. I'm going to take a front photo and a back photo. I've sold many grocery items doing that. So it depends on your product. If you're selling a shoe, okay, I'm going to take this shoe. It's pretty sweet, right? Got that suede action. If I'm selling a shoe, I'm going to take a main image. That's image 1. I'm going to try to fill up all 12 because shoes, especially new ones, you don't need all 12 because they're new. As long as you're taking pictures of, like, I'm a big fan, take a picture of the soles so people can see they were not worn. Take, 1, 2, 3, 4. I do like diagonal shots, 5, 6. So I mean, like 6 to 8 photos is fine on new shoes. Used ones, I'm doing all 12 because I'm taking up close shots of where there's wear. These ones have dirt on the bottom. I'm going to clean them up, but any dirt that's left over I can't get, I'll take photos of. So, I mean, it just depends on your market. I personally will fill up as many photos as I feel necessary, and that's just how I do it. Do you need to pay shipping on eBay or the buyer? That's a never-ending debate. We personally do free shipping on all of our stuff. I know a lot of electronic sellers, they sell using paid shipping where the buyer pays shipping and they do it no problem. It's all personal preference. Man, you guys are blowing me up tonight. Let me make sure I can get as many of these as I can. I haven't done a live Q&A in like 5-6 weeks, so people are like flooding their questions in right now. VCRs seem to take a long time to sell on eBay. It just depends on the type. It's like any other product. A lot of people are buying VCRs just because they're like, oh, I heard VCRs are good. Well, if you're buying VCRs that do not show they are selling consistently, it's probably not going to sell very quick. So, and you also have to look at how many current listings are there. If you've got one type of VCR like a Sony that has 100 active listings, it's going to take longer to sell that one than one that may only have 20 listings. So it's also at current active listings versus the sold history. If I see that there's a VCR I look up and it's only sold one time in the last 90 days and there's 20 sellers, unless it's worth hundreds of dollars, I'm probably just going to pass on that. I want to try to stick with that quick selling stuff because, like I just pointed out, I have way too much crap sitting around here. Inventory that's just not selling. So I'm going to start working on cash flow again, which means cherry picking your items sometimes. Just because you get something cheap doesn't mean it's going to sell. Adam said, I started listing 3 to 5 products each day after Chaz gave me a little pep talk over a week ago. Looking great so far. Will for sure be an epic month. Nice work, Adam. Adam's another one of those rare ones that actually follows some tips. When am I doing meetup in the Hillsboro, Beaverton area? We did one. Geez, when was that? We did one with Wade's Venture. I don't even remember when that was. December? January? I have no idea. It's been a while, but we did a big bowling alley event up there. Trista and I were just talking about this the other night. We need to start just doing a quarterly, like even if it's just meet up for dinner, meet up at a bar or something like that. Just meet up every single quarter, just open invite. So we will be doing some type of meetup pretty soon. How would you suggest doing pickups for Facebook Marketplace when you're selling out of your home and don't want people coming to your home? I also don't want to sit around and wait for someone at a meetup spot. You're kind of in a tough spot where you either have to be comfortable with somebody showing up to your house. Here's what I do. I am not a fan of people coming to my house. I have a warehouse space, so I do have people come here and pick up because we do have a brick and mortar shop that we have. So I consider that like shop inventory anyways. But before we got the warehouse space and I was doing marketplace pickups, we had a Walgreens that was about 7 minutes down the road. And that was my meetup spot, right? It was close enough to me. Or I will plan to, I will deliver items to a person only if I'm going to plan on thrifting around that area anyways. So that may be another option, is meeting them somewhere that you plan on going to anyway. So you're not really going out of your way too much. And that's just part of the risk with selling locally. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, OfferUp. You get people that are going to be super late or they're not going to show. And that's just part of the risk that you take. That's why I stopped selling a lot of cheap items on Marketplace. And I'm trying to make sure I have enough margin to make it worth waiting around for 5-10 minutes if I need to. The other thing too is have a backlog. If you're doing eBay, this is what I do. I always have a backlog. I do all my stuff in batches. So like right now, I just spent yesterday and today, I have about 50 products, if not more, already photoed. If I'm sitting around waiting for somebody to show up for a pickup, I'm going to do a few listings. If I'm sitting around a grocery line that's 5-6 people long, it's going to take about 5-10 minutes to get through. I'm going to do a couple listings. So that's what I'm a fan of. Always have a backlog of photos on your phone. ready to go. So that's another thing too, is get work done while you're waiting. Thumbs up for the video. If you guys are not following Real Life FBA, highly recommend. One of our main VIP members, Martin. Martin's one of those rare ones too. He started FBA. He just crossed his 1 year anniversary. He did 300K his first year, but he's one of those rare ones. He started FBA, no knowledge. A year later, he just freaking crushed it because he just like tunnel vision and went for it. No messing around. Yeah, it's another great one too. We're in a very, very small town, so we don't even have the like police department pickup area. But I know a lot of bigger cities do have that. There is actual designated like meetup spots for selling, buying and selling for products that way. I went to the bins today and picked up a working DSi with Pokemon Heart Gold and 15 other games for $2. That's amazing. That's why I can't ever give up thrifting. Like, even if we're doing $1 million a year in wholesale, like, I'm still going to thrift because I get way more joy out of finding. Like, I get that wholesale and online arbitrage, it's way more efficient and scalable. But man, when you find something like that, like, you can't beat the treasure hunter high that comes with that. What's the benefit of consistent listing items? Sales. It's the biggest benefit, hands down. Money. And then when you have more money, you go buy more stuff and then you list more. It's just, it's a repeating cycle. A lot of people are like, what do you do as a full-time seller? You do the same thing you did when you're part-time. You just do more of it. Instead of 5 listings a day, I'm trying to set this goal of like 20 a day because I know that's why I need to scale. So you're just doing more of the same stuff. Nothing really changes. You're just doing more volume work. So instead of, spending $100 in a day, I want to spend $500 per day on product. Instead of 5 listings a day, I want to do 20 listings a day. That's how you kind of scale up from there. Yeah, the bins are amazing. I was very anti-bins for a long time. Many of you know this. I was so stubborn because I had one bad experience my first time in there, just getting elbowed, and I have a temper sometimes. And I eventually just made this decision, like, the bins are stupid and I don't like them. And then I went back in and I got addicted again because you can't beat the prices on some of that stuff. It's crazy. You are not kidding that listing more grows. eBay sales. Yep. That's all there is to it. eBay is such an easy business model. I'm not saying the work is easy, but the model is easy. Go out, buy stuff. Like when you get to a wholesaler level, different ball game. Then it's how much can I spend, and how much can I list in those bulk orders that you put in. Like all this stuff right here, it's all wholesale for eBay. So then it's a matter of how much can I spend with these wholesalers. But in the beginning, you're going to yard sales, garage sales, you're going to thrift stores, Goodwills, etc., Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, wherever you're sourcing from. It's such an easy business model because it's like, okay, go find products that are undervalued in the current market, and then, in that market, and then arbitrage that onto eBay and sell it at what the current marketplace value is. Get it to that right customer that's willing to pay that right price. And then you pocket the difference and go out and buy more stuff. Like it's such a simple business model. The hard part is consistency and doing the listings every day and shipping and buyer requests for returns and messages. Like it's a grind, but it's totally doable. Do I do any liquidation purchasing? Yes, I do. Especially for my warehouse sale that we now do. Once a month, I open up our warehouse doors and I let the whole public come in. We have several hundred people that roll through here per day. It's been fantastic. So I now buy liquidation because you could buy stuff for $1 to $2, maybe $3 or $4 on the high end per piece. And if I sell stuff between 6, 8, sometimes 10 to 12, you're making great margins. It's a lot of labor because you have to process a couple of these. I have boxes over here too, and I have a pallet coming tomorrow, but it's a lot of labor to process this stuff. I'm trying to get it down to a method where I did all the processing for the last 2 warehouse sales that we did. A lot of hours went into it, but I now came up with my system that works. So I can now teach my employee how to process stuff that comes in, how to store it, and then how to set it up for the sale. And then my hands are off the processing part. So that's how I become efficient with it. So it's not so much of my own personal time. But yeah, liquidation can be great if you're doing it the right way. Do not do it on Amazon. That's all I'm going to say. Do not flip liquidation on Amazon. liquidation invoices are not going to hold up when you get complaints or claims like IP claims, inauthentic claims. They're not going to hold up. You might luck out and get a rep that approves you if you get suspended or an IP claim or something like that. You might get a rep that works with you, but just play it safe, guys. Keep liquidation stuff on other platforms, like locally especially, can be a great game that you can play that way. Flea markets, all that stuff, or eBay. That's what liquidation is for now. It's a different ballgame than it was 4 years ago, because people used to watch my old videos, which are now taken down. I took those down a while ago for that reason. 4 years ago, I was buying products from bulk.com to flip on Amazon. It was not an issue, but then I had complaints come in and I had some issues with my account because of that. And that's when I stopped buying liquidation for Amazon, took my videos down, because I'm not going to be going down that rabbit trail of fighting with poor invoices that are given. Yeah, there you go. Tim even said, I've started a local flea market selling new liquidation makeup. That's a fantastic gig right there, is makeup and beauty items. Huge number so far. Absolutely. If you guys don't mind putting in the hours, because it is labor intensive, liquidation, especially into flea markets, garage sales, can be a great return. I love it too. There's a weird part of me. I don't know why. I love working with physical product. Like wholesale and OA stuff is efficient. That's how that pays the bills. We're still doing wholesale stuff to pay the bills. But the fun part for me is dealing with physical product. Like when I get to get this to a collector that's going to love it for many, many years. I love that stuff, right? When I get to pick these up and clean these off and sell them to a collector that's going to love those for years, I love that stuff. But you've got to be okay with some labor. Okay. There's a lot of cleaning, testing that's involved. And a lot of people are not going to be willing to do the work that goes into it. So on my eBay listings, I've always had returns not accepted. Will eBay still accept return requests from buyers even if listings state no returns? Technically, they're not supposed to, but they will. I've had it happen many, many times. That's why I eventually, Tristan and I sat down, we said, you know what? The buyers may have won. I don't know, but we said, screw it. We're just going to offer free returns on all of our stuff. And we did see positive stuff come from it. So now we always do free returns because we do believe in it now. But when we had no returns on all of our product, guess what? If the customer wants to return it, they're going to do it through you, or they're going to go to eBay, and eBay's probably going to side with them. That's just how it goes. Is liquidation okay on Amazon sold as used? Enter at your own risk is all I'm going to say. Can you? Yes. Should you? That's a different story, right? It's all about your risk tolerance. If you don't mind playing a risky game with your Amazon account, absolutely go for it. You'll make some money. I'm not playing that game anymore. Ooh, ouch. Got sued by OtterBox because I didn't know LifeProof was the same company. Yep, that's a prime example. This is why I'm a huge fan, guys. I talked about this on Instagram yesterday. Have diversification in your selling business. Don't just sell on Amazon or just sell on eBay or just sell on Poshmark. Spread that risk out. If our Amazon account got shut down, it would be very painful. I would be very upset, but we would be okay. I've got eBay. What was that? I don't know if my microphone caught that. There was like some banging on a door next to us, which I'm the only one in the building right now, so I don't know. Oh, well. It would be painful, but we've got eBay. We've got Poshmark. We've now got our local warehouse sale. We've got our little brick and mortar store that we're working on. We spread our risk out, okay? I know I'm not scaling as quickly as I could if I just did 100% Amazon, but guess what? There's more risk with that. I'm personally not going to put my risk all in one way of selling. And a lot of that's a mindset too. You have to look at yourself as a distribution channel for products. You're not just an Amazon seller. You are a distribution channel for products. If someone gives me this shoe, I'm not just an eBay seller with this shoe. I'm going to look at the shoe and I'm going to check all my different ways I can sell that. And I'm going to distribute it out to the channel it's going to flip to best. So act as a distribution channel. Spread your risk out. It's all just opinion. All of this is personal opinion, and you don't have to listen or take any of it. That's just my personal opinion. Armando said, even if you have no returns accepted and the buyer returns an item as not as described, then eBay will accept the returns. I agree with Chaz. Better put returns. I rarely get returns. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, ever since I turned returns on, yeah, that's right. Sounds weird. Ever since I turned it on, as far as free returns, nothing really changed. Like I don't get a lot of returns. And when I do get them, it's like, okay, return it. And then most of the time I can resell it again. Unless it's something new that they just like shred it apart. I put it in a vlog. I think I put it on IG, but somebody returned a car stereo and like we bubble wrap and we put nice craft brown paper in there. They returned it in the cushioning they used. They could have used the original cushioning. The cushioning they used was friggin' toilet paper. Like legit roll of toilet paper just like put in there. I took my phone out and I have it for a vlog, but I looked at that and just I was speechless. I don't think I'll ever see that again. Like somebody thought, I could use newspaper. I could find plastic bags. I could find anything around the house, but I'm just going to put toilet paper in there. But yeah, people are going to return if they want to return. So it's part of the business. I'm just getting started on eBay and wonder, do you recommend setting up an LLC to start selling? You don't need to out of the gate. If you plan on making this an actual business, yes. There's different ways, and of course, talk to your CPA, but there's different ways to treat an LLC that's going to legit separate you from the business as far as liability goes. If you ever get sued for anything, all that kind of stuff, that's all stuff you need to talk to your CPA about. But do you need it? Is it an absolute requirement? No. You're going to be running your social security number as your tax ID, and it's called sole proprietor. So you can do your research, talk to your CPA, and decide what's going to be best for you. Justin Pac-Man, thanks for being in here, man. It looked like new TP. I don't know. They could have put something in there. I haven't. Oh, it's over here. It's over in the corner. I still haven't like opened it all the way, but the funny part was they rolled a whole bunch of TP in there and they put an egg carton on the top. It was the funniest return I think I've ever gotten. Yeah, let's save on the packing supplies. Like toilet paper is not even that cheap sometimes. It depends on what type of toilet paper it was. That just cracks me up. Some people like it ran through their head as this is a good idea. As a newbie, how many free listing slots do you get from eBay? They'll have a 10 listing limit when you first start, but you want to get your 10 listings up and then try to sell through a few of those. I did a video on this on our channel. Go check it out. But call eBay and get your listings upped. I've had an eBay store subscription for a while, so I don't even remember how many free listings you get. Is it 10? I feel like it's 10 free, and then the first paid upgrade is like 100. I'm sure somebody in here knows. I haven't even looked into it in a few years, so I'm not sure. We upgraded to a store a few years ago, and it's we've got more than enough listings. All right, crew. Okay, so 10 and $100. 10 and then 100. Okay. We're at 7 o'clock, which means it's time to go. I've got a few more things I'm going to photo, and then I'm going to go home. I'm going to go for a run because I have a 5K obstacle race in 2 weeks, and I should probably start running more than I have been. And then I'm going to spend some time with the family, get that time management in there, work-life balance, if that's such a thing. Come back tomorrow, back to the grind. There we go. It's 50 now. There you go. Yeah, you start with 10 and 50 is the max you get for free. Thank you, Gretchen. Sweet. All right. For everyone that tuned in, thank you so much. It feels so good to be back. Hopefully you guys took something out of my 3 mistakes that I've been making and what I'm doing to fix them. So hopefully you guys can learn from my mistakes, if anything. Have an amazing night. We will see you. We are back on regular schedule with lives. So it's going to be next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Just playing every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time is when our normal time is. So we'll be back on schedule next week. Have a great night. This has been Chaz. Peace out, crew. We'll see you next time.